Good morning. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd. And I'm cooking some cocoa here that we stole from the hostel. Not stole, actually. The swap box that we got from the swap box. And trying to get it to cool down now after having boiled it. We did 15 miles yesterday. Felt pretty good. Got to one of the nicest shelter we've been at, and made our mac and cheese, and it started raining just as we finished. So we got a nice show there. Lightning, pitter patter of the rain on the roof. Crashed. This morning it's not raining, but it's wet and cloudy, overcast, And we'll probably hike down the road and skip the trail. The rocks in Pennsylvania are definitely there. They're not imaginary. And they make the going a little bit more difficult than you'd like. However, Pennsylvania is very flat because it's up on a ridge, which is nice. And we figured out that it was 6 weeks and a day ago that we started, 43 days. And I've been out here now for almost 4 weeks, I guess.
A month.
Coming this Friday, I've been on the trail for 4 weeks. I'm making good progress. We're going to do maybe 17 miles today. Tomorrow, maybe a dozen or so. And
the next day is bad news.
And then the next day after that, like 20. Something like that. It depends on what maybe we'll add some on to the dozen day and take some off from the long miler. And we seem to be dreaming a lot these days. Well, I guess it's more that we wake up and immediately start talking, so we remember what the dreams are. And otherwise, nothing much else. Hello, today is Friday, July 25th.
How'd you know it was the 25th?
Because I looked in a register. And we're at a creek here, very close to Eggville in Pennsylvania. I guess, well, last night we stayed near the Bavarian Inn on 309, and the night before that we stayed at the George Outerbridge shelter. And the last time we talked to you was at the Leroy Smith shelter right before that. And we hiked on roads the day after Leroy Smith, hiked up on the ridge after Outerbridge. Feet hurt now. We're eking our way into Eckville. And we're going to hit Port Clinton tomorrow.
See if we heard from Roger.
Yeah, Roger is supposed.
Ramjet.
He's supposed to write us in Port Clinton.
Roger's a cagey guy. Oh, mud.
And Jimmy is giving his feet a mud path because they hurt. My feet hurt too, but not as much as Jimmy's do.
Mine are dead.
Jimmy complains about his feet all the time. Poor guy.
Serious business.
And that's about it. Oh yeah. Oh, we're doing we've stopped hiking and we're decided to do an in-depth study on silicon. No more hiking. We're just going to study silicon. Give me an R.
R.
Give me an O.
O.
Give me a C.
C.
Give me a K.
K.
What does it spell?
Pain.
Today is July 28th, 1980. It's a Monday. We spent Saturday and Sunday in Port Clinton at the Pavilion. On Saturday, we walked from the Windsor Furnace Shelter to Port Clinton, hoping to reached the post office in time before it closed, and found out that it wasn't open on the weekends. And then we started hitching to Hamburg for supplies when Julie and Melanie pull up with Kevin and talk with them, and we take Julie and Melanie's packs out of the car and leave them with Ida. And then there was room enough for the 5 of us to drive into Hamburg, where we ate breakfast at a restaurant and went shopping for supplies. Came back to Ida's house in Port Clinton, talked with her, and then went to up to Hawk Mountain, where we hiked up to the north face, just looked at some Clivus Multrum toilets, and bought an edible plants book and some postcards. Then we went back down to Port Clinton. Kevin left. He had to go back to Philadelphia. And then we just spent the rest of the evening hanging around the pavilion. Drank a few beers. Then Sunday we went to the farmer's market with Barry, who lives next door in a mobile home he leases. And he drove us around in his AMX, you know. And at the farmer's market they sell everything from pornographic greeting cards to cardiac units, or whatever you call them. EKGs or whatever. And then bought some food, you know, and a Beatles anthology, and I've been learning how to play Rocky Raccoon and 8 Days a Week, and fixing a hole in the roof, and all sorts of other songs, Beatles songs. And we ran into Fortin, forget his first name, and Derek the Virginian. We saw Jan and Kenneth, little Kenneth, 10-year-old Kenneth, and Skip, and Greg, the Cadillac driver, with a big cowboy hat and the gym shorts. He was very generous to thru hikers. And then this morning we left after having checked at the post office for mail from Roger. There wasn't any. Left around 9, and been hiking for a while. I don't know what time it is, but we've come I don't know how many miles. Still got a ways to go to the Hurtline campsite. And that's about the whole story for today. Do you have any other comments to make, Jimmy?
Nope.
Today is Wednesday, July 29th, I think. Yes, the 29th. Last night we stayed with a Mennonite family. The Brennans or something like that. Something begins with a B. It was a real experience, whatever that means. What happened is we were hiking off the trail, making our way out of Bethel, where we had stopped to make a phone call. Jimmy stopped to make a phone call to get his mother to send him his glasses. And it was getting late, and we laid down by the side of the road to rest, and it got dark and started raining, so we decided to pitch camp next to this little barn across the street from this house, where I'd gone to seek permission. Nobody was home, so we just decided to pitch camp anyway, because we really didn't have any other choice. And the dogs that lived in, I guess, around the house, whatever, started barking, and alerted the neighbors, who called the owners of the house at their store. That's where they were. Then they called some other neighbors who came to investigate, and as they pulled up, I went over to them and said, well, explain the situation, and the guy said, well, listen, why don't you come with me, set up in my backyard, that way there isn't any problem, and I can explain to my neighbors here that everything's fine. So he took us to his little house, and we set up in a field, rocky field up there. And at about 6 in the morning, the sun was up, just barely up. We took down the camp, and they invited us in for breakfast. We had eggs that were grown on the farm there, and goat's milk, and we met everybody. Grace, his wife, his name is Paul, and he has, I guess, 5 kids, 3 boys and 2 girls. And you know, the Mennonites are Christian, very Christian, and we got a little bit of their literature and everything, and they let us take a bath, and it was really fun. It really helped because the day before that we were pretty, well, at least I was pretty bummed out. I don't know, I was feeling a little bit sick and so on and so forth, but today I feel really good. You know, ready and raring to go. Well, it's time to say goodbye to the box. We're going to stuff this little box in another box and put it in a big box called the post office. And mail it off to where I live in the big box.
That's the box. It's the Claude box.
Okay, so farewell, little box.